We're gonna record now because we are recording our app. Hi! Welcome back to Death Before Booze, our true crime paranormal podcast. I'm Sam.
I'm Jen.
Hi, Jen.
Hi, Sam.
And yeah, I don't think we have any housekeeping today, do we?
No, I don't think so. I think we're good.
Except that it rained on poor Trump's parade this weekend. Oh, it did. Poor Trumpy. Poor Trumpy.
Well,
that's not me
it's
being
been raining,
political or anything.
It's been raining every Saturday for like the past 16 weeks, apparently. So like, it's pretty bad. So
has it only been 16? Because it kind of feels like the whole forever,
right?
The whole of forever, yeah.
Feels like when you were working, it's really nice outside, and then like it's the weekend, and we're like, yeah.
Yeah, well now you're off for a while, so
that's
aren't you
true.
Lucky?
So I am. It's now I'm on my cleaning tour, so.
Oh my god, I love that for you.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I would love a cleaning tour.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, this week, I'm going to announce it. This week's my birthday episode. Yay!
Ba, ba, ba. Happy birthday.
Yeah, so cool beans. Jen, tell me a story.
Okay, so I asked Sam, just for a disclaimer here, I asked Sam if she wanted me to go with something that was a little bit less crazy or something that was crazy and similar to a chick's pick. And she said, go freaking nuts. So I found this story and I needed to tell somebody about it. So
here I am. I am
here ready. You are.
I am waiting with bated breath.
So this is the bizarre case of Andre Thomas, not the football player, because apparently I looked up Andre Thomas and it's like there's football players and I'm like, no, that's not the one I want. Andre was born March 17th, 1983 in Muskogee County, Oklahoma.
Nailed it.
To Rochelle and Danny Thomas. He had 5 brothers, and Rochelle pretty much raised all of the kids on her own in Sherman, Texas.
Good for you, girl.
Okay.
Get it.
The family had some issues before Andre's story. Rochelle was an alcoholic. She had depression, and she had been sexually abused.
Oh.
Other members of the family also suffered from substance abuse and violent tendencies. And there were many times growing up that the house had no electricity, water, or heat because it's hard to keep up with 5 kids plus, the house. So I get that. Times are tough.
I mean, at least it's only 5. It could have been like 17, like a normal
I agree.
Story.
It could have been like anywhere above 12, and it would have been.
Yeah.
Apparently, also, this was just kind of a thing that they threw in on one of the articles. 10 years before Andre was born, his uncle was shot and killed by his grandfather. I don't know anything else about it. They just were like, also, this is how fucked up the family was. And I'm just like, all right.
Put this one little asterisk in and let you know.
I have questions, but you know what? There was no follow-up, so okay.
Rude.
So there it is. So Andre attended the Baptist church, where people described him as smart. He was respectful. He was curious. He liked sketching cars and disassembling and reassembling cars. So that's really awesome. Like when kids have that, like they want to like open up the computer, put things back together. I'm like, this is the coolest thing. Like I would love to be able to do that. I can't. So.
I can't. No.
He was also in the talented and gifted program at school.
Oh, so he's a burnt-out millennial.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just as a side note, I was never in the talented and gifted programs, but like when those kids got out of class because they had to like do their like honor level stuff, I was always like, where are they going? Like, how come they're having so much fun?
Oh, it was not fun. Because I was one of those gifted and talented kids.
Oh, okay.
They put me on a bus to a different school to this woman who was a complete and utter cunt. And she would yell at us for not dotting an I and being perfect, to the point where I would cry. And they wonder why I have anxiety. This is why. Because they told me you're gifted and talented, so we're going to give you... This is why we just accept extra work. Because you're in regular classes. You get pulled out of your regular class to go to this extra class where, because you're so good, you get more work. And then if you don't perform that work perfectly as well as your other work perfectly, you fail and you get screamed at. Welcome to Millennial Burnout and Gabapentin. Yay!
That doesn't sound like fun.
It wasn't fun. It wasn't fun at all.
I always just pictured, like, they got to leave during classes, and I'm like, where are they going? Like, I was so jealous. And I was like, how come I'm not talented and gifted? Well...
I wish I was never considered talented and gifted.
Talented and gifted.
Why couldn't I just be, kid in the corner licking the glue stick?
I mean, I was above that, but I wasn't. Apparently, I was in the in-between kids.
Yeah, no. I really wish I licked the glue sticks and sniffed the markers and just went, okay, I'm here.
Yeah.
But I had a lot more fun.
Maybe those kids are doing okay now. I don't know. Who knows?
I mean, it seems like a lot of them are tech giants. Look at Elon. I'm sure he licked a glue stick or two in his lifetime.
I mean, that's fair. That is fair.
I know.
So, when Andre turned 10, things started to change a little bit. He told some of his classmates that he heard angels and demons arguing in his head. He also said
What? No. Wait. Do not pass go. What?
Yeah. So it's, I guess, like,
did he see them on the shoulder? Get out of my... Did he see them on the shoulders? Like,
I don't think it was like he saw them. I think it was just kind of like good versus evil battle in his head.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm picturing Kronk right now.
Yeah, but that's exactly what I pictured, and I was like, it doesn't sound fun.
He was part of the Gifted and Talented program, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, there you go.
Like, there it is.
He also said he was Raiden from the Mortal Kombat games, and he believed he was Raiden. Raiden's the one who like summons the lightning and stuff. I don't know if,
Thor, God of Thunder.
Something, I don't know. It's weird. He also started drinking and smoking, probably a little bit older than 10. But this also, maybe some people said he did this as a way to quiet the voices and the good versus evil battle, which
I don't see that working very well.
It's not gonna work, but at the very least, like,
no.
He was also placed on probation when he was 12.
At 12?
Yes. So things started to go downhill really fast.
Yeah.
By the time he was 13, he had attempted slur slide twice. He was arrested at 15 for stealing a car. And he was placed on slur slide watch during his stay in the juvenile detention center, but it did not continue. But he didn't continue with mental health services after that.
Okay.
Which,
stupid.
So, Laura, Andre started dating Laura Boren, who is a white female during the time, and she became pregnant and gave birth to their son, Andre Jr., in August of 1999. Now, I mention her race because it's going to be important later. It's just kind of like in there, and how people sometimes, especially where they are in Texas, don't necessarily, even in the 90s, agree with interracial marriage still.
I'm a checkerboard chick.
Yeah.
Get used to it.
Yeah. So, Andre and Laura were still teenagers at the time. So even though, again, he started dating her, they got pregnant, they had the baby, Andre had to drop out of school in order to get some odd jobs. He did earn his high school equivalency diploma.
Okay.
So that's good. The two were married in 2001. Andre was 18 and Laura was 17. So very, very young to have baby plus a marriage. It's a lot.
I'm sorry, if you can't drink legally at your own wedding, you probably shouldn't be getting married. That's
Yeah,
how I feel. I
mean,
think even 21 is young, but I definitely feel if you cannot legally drink at your own wedding, you should not be married.
it's very young to be able to handle the responsibilities of adulthood when you're not even adults.
Your brain
So,
isn't even fully formed yet.
It's not.
No.
It's not.
No.
So the two lived together at Andre's mother's home. But once they got married, Mom was like, you got to get out of here. So they moved in with Laura's parents. But 4 months into their marriage, they separated.
That's a lot. Even if, like, you were old, like, you're living with your parents or somebody's parents, and then, you got a kid, and
It's a lot. It's a lot in a short amount of time for two young people. Like, Laura, however, like, would find a new boyfriend a little bit of time later. She would move in with him and have a child with him in 2003. So time went by. It wasn't all like,
Yeah,
hey,
like
we
2
separated
weeks
and
later.
whatever. Yes, but
Okay.
Andre was still having some trouble dealing with the separation. So it caused intense delusions and suicidal thoughts. He was obsessed over the apocalyptic concepts of the Book of Revelations.
Was that the bad little thing or the good one?
See, I don't know if it's still like a good versus evil fight, but he was just obsessed with that piece of the Bible. And again, like, I don't know. I don't know. At least he's reading I don't know. I've never read the Bible cover to cover, so I don't know what the Book of Revelations is, but they always seem to
It's not great.
quote that one when it's like
It's
the
not
end of
good.
time.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not a
So-
good one,
He also had some trouble keeping a job because he's all over the place.
Well, yeah.
He was living on his own. He had difficulty paying the bills. And so Laura, as a result, limited the amount of time he had visitation with his son because you're not holding yourself together. I don't want to
There's
put my
no
son in that type of position.
stability. There's no
Yeah.
stability for a child. Yeah, no.
Now, she didn't say no, like you can't see him at all. It was just I think you need to pull yourself together first.
Yes.
So, okay. This is when Andre started to believe Laura was Jezebel from the Hebrew Bible,
Get the fuck out.
and therefore his son was the Antichrist.
What?
I don't know a lot about the Hebrew Bible, and I was trying to kind of see, but the word Jezebel is one of those that they use in biblical terms, meaning like, kind of like a harlot.
You're a
type of
whore.
thing. So,
It's
yeah.
a hoa. In the words of Paulie
So-
from The Sopranos, it's a hoa.
Yo.
A hoa.
So he also believed the meaning of life was contained in a message in the image of a US dollar bill.
No.
No.
No. Do you remember after 9/11 when we'd all like fold the whatever the right way, the $20 bill, and you
like,
see the
and then you're like,
oh my god,
it's like it
Illuminati.
was, Yes, like that's kind of what.
yeah.
All right, so Andre's having a little bit of Tory. He also would sometimes cover his mouth with duct tape and refuse to speak to his family. So go see them, but then just throw tape over his mouth and
And none of his family was like,
maybe we have a problem.
maybe he
I
should
agree.
talk to somebody other than
I agree.
the little
The little
demon on
angel and
his-
devil on his.
Yeah.
I agree. And now again, this is the early 2000s, so I don't know. Like, I feel like it wasn't so taboo for someone to get therapy and help,
Especially if they had like
especially-
an actual problem.
Exactly. So but I don't know if it was his family was like, that's weird,
Well, they are in
and then they
Texas.
just, that's that's fair too.
I mean,
so
people didn't like interracial relationships. Can only imagine if he was like, yeah, I go to therapy.
yeah. So spring of 2004, again, Andre is 21 at the time. He still is struggling with alcohol abuse and psychological difficulties.
Okay.
Now, he started recreationally using Coridine for cold medicine. Did you just...
Getting that Zerp on.
Yeah. At one point, a friend brought him to a health center, and was like, he told staff, he's like, my friend here is having some trouble, and he told me that he's going to step in front of a bus if he doesn't speak to somebody. All right. So
we went through the proper channels that time.
The clinical staff told him, okay, you have to go to the emergency room, and we're going to call right now because we have to prepare for the, emergency detention order on this because seems really red flag. All right. Andre didn't go to the emergency room to do all this.
I am so surprised.
Yeah. 3 weeks later, Andre was in the hospital because he stabbed himself in the chest.
So we didn't do the bus.
No, he didn't do the bus.
Okay. Let's do the much more painful, longer way to go through this.
He was trying to cross over to heaven, is what he was saying he was doing. Now, the wound wasn't life-threatening, but the doctors went to arrange a psychiatric commitment. So they're like, good. Okay, we patched you up. I'm going to turn around real quick and make sure that we, get your stuff going. Unfortunately, the doctor, or Andre walked out before the doctor was able to get him physically to go somewhere. Like, to physically, commit him. However, the doctor did notify the police and said, hey, this guy just came in. I really think he could be dangerous. I'm just letting you know. We wanted to commit him. He's not. He walked out. I'm just telling you.
Yep.
The cops had no contact with Andre, who just walked home. So I don't know if they were like, okay, cool, we'll note that, and they just didn't really take it seriously, or...
Wasn't that like last week where it's like, yeah, no, we totally went and looked for the skull in the woods.
We totally looked.
We definitely looked. No, there was nothing there. No.
There was nothing there. Oh, but it's there like 3 months later.
Magic.
Yeah, we looked, but...
Magic.
So, March 27th, Andre went to Laura's house. Not her house, it's her apartment complex. She lives on the 3rd floor with her, again, now boyfriend and her 2 kids. So he kicks open the door.
No.
Boyfriend's not home.
Oh my God.
So it's just Laura and the kids. And again, mind you, his son at this point is around 4, and the other one is just over 1. So... Andre doesn't really say anything. He just kind of like runs in. He's got this look about him, and he goes over to Laura and he stabs her to death.
With the kids in the house?
With them in the house.
No.
He also, thinking that it was her heart, pulls out a portion of her lung.
What the fuck? Where do you find this shit? What? Okay.
Is this something that the Book of Revelation is like, I wouldn't recommend reading it if this is what it's going to entail.
Well, no, they don't tell you to rip out part of somebody's lung. That's not what they write.
I don't know what they write in there.
I don't even remember them saying about cutting out people's hearts. I do know that is a thing, though. Oh, now I'm thinking about Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. We watched that this weekend. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm definitely delaying you talking because I don't want to hear what else he did.
Well,
okay.
With both of the children there, he goes into the bedroom. They're both there. He does also kill them as well. And he takes their hearts.
Wait. Not to make light of this, is it their actual hearts or part of their lungs it's their as well? Okay.
No, it's actually their... Well, because I guess I don't know what the... I don't know. I don't even know if cutting open a person, you'd be able to be like, oh, okay, whatever. I don't know what his thought process was.
He then decided... I played Operation a couple times. I think we could do it. I'm not saying I'm going to, but I mean, getting
Yeah,
up in like your sternum must be hard because you gotta like get in there. I don't like it. I just give myself goose pimples. Oh, I'm gonna die.
So he then decided he was going to stab himself in the chest 3 times as well. And then he laid down next to Laura's body because he was expecting that he was going to die.
Didn't work the
And
first
he wanted
time.
to be next to her. It didn't work this time either because once he realized he wasn't dying, he's like, all right. So he takes like the...
Okay. All right.
I mean, all right. I guess we're good. I guess
that was enough meditation time. I'm gonna go to the bus stop.
It's something almost like really similar to that, which is so fucking weird. He takes the organs, puts them in his pocket, and then walks home. Like, what? What are we doing?
He's walking home.
He walked home with the organs in his pocket. He's just, there's blood everywhere. There's got to be blood everywhere. People are just like, oh, that's really interesting. I mean, I'm not saying I would approach him because I would not, but maybe I'd be like, should we like call somebody? Is this guy all right?
What kind of pants was he wearing that he could fit 2 hearts and part of a lung in them?
Well, they were his son was 4 and the other one was 13 months old. So I can't imagine they're very big organs. And he only had a part of the lung because he was like, I don't know. Like,
how big is a heart?
That big? I would assume. I would assume
like
so.
I'm sorry, I'm making a fist right now. Is that how big a heart?
No, but maybe
hey, Kelsey, you studied this shit. Is that like my fist would be like maybe a little bit bigger? Because I'm trying to think when they do it in the Temple of Doom, man, he's got like a full fucking hand of like chest and another one I never understood because you got to get through the ribs. How did you get through the skin, through the ribs to get the?
Well, that's Hollywood, but this I don't know.
I don't know.
I can't answer that question.
I really hate it.
Know.
I really hate everything that's happening right now.
So he put the organs in a bag, threw them in the trash, and then he calls Laura's mother and leaves a voicemail. He says, quote, something bad is happening to me and it keeps happening and I don't know what's going on. I need some help. I think I'm in hell. I don't know. Andre did turn himself in to the police, telling them he thought God wanted him to kill these victims.
Okay.
And he killed each victim with separate knives because he thought demons were inside of them. So if their blood mixed, then the demon would survive.
I'm going to say that back to you to make sure I understand what you're saying.
Totally.
Okay, teacher. Teacher Jen, here we go. So I got my knife, and I unfortunately stabbed victim number 1.
Yes, you do.
So now I can't use that knife anymore because if victim number 1's blood gets mixed with victim number 2's blood, the demons can survive.
Yes.
But the demons can't survive with just one victim's blood.
That is correct.
Okay, I am ready for Jeopardy. Let's go.
Yeah, right?
I am
That's
ready.
Correct, Alec.
Thank God. I don't know what I was going to do because I have a feeling that's Final Jeopardy tomorrow.
Yeah, right? So he was also taken to the hospital for his injuries. Yeah, because he didn't do a great job like before, but at the very least they're like, bro. So his trial happened. 5 days after the murder, Andre was in jail awaiting his trial. He removed his right eye with his bare hand.
What? What? How?
Now
with his hands?
How did he take the hearts out of their bodies? He just... I don't know, Sam. I don't know.
Think you can.
Well, he certainly did.
Is it like
just
a pimple?
Look at pictures.
Is it like, how do you get
Don't try it!
I don't understand. How do you get it out?
Don't you see
in there?
But, like, it's like the horror movies, right? When they have the fake eyeball and you're like, okay, I mean, I guess it's not like that. But, like, I don't know how you do it yourself.
You can't even get your finger around it. Oh, yeah, don't do that.
No, I don't know.
That's integral.
Yeah, don't try it. I know that, don't try it.
I don't understand. I don't understand.
I mean, again, there's pictures on the blog. He totally did it. But, like, there were two sources that said different reasons why.
Okay.
One said he was reading the Bible, and in Matthew 5:29 it says, "If your right eyes cause you to stumble, gouge it out."
But what if it was the left eye? Do they specify? Do I gouge out my left eye or do I leave it there? And if I ripped out one of my eyes, how am I supposed to finish reading the Bible? I have no depth perception.
I know. Well, the other source said he quoted Matthew 9:47.
Fucking Matthew, man.
Which said, "And if your eye causes you to sin, pluck it out. It is better to enter the kingdom of God with one eye than to have eyes and be thrown into hell." Either way, he got rid of his right eye. And he didn't use anything but his bare hands.
I don't understand.
I don't either. I really don't.
You really
like,
swung for the fences, huh, for my birthday.
Really
Thank
did
you.
on this one.
Yeah.
I did.
Okay.
Now, psychologists interviewed him to see if he was competent to stand trial.
He's not.
And we're not surprised that he was diagnosed with schizophrenia and he was declared incompetent.
What? No way. You mean taking out your own eyeball doesn't make you competent? I can't. I fucking can't. I think the whole thing with Matthew and like your eye is causing means like you're like looking at somebody's body or like having impure thoughts or like coveting somebody's wife or whatever. Not like
this is the reason why
I killed three people. I don't need a right eye.
The Bible causes a lot of controversy with people because they're like, oh, well, if it says that, no, he's not saying gouge out your fucking eye. He's not. It says that, but he's not saying do it. Like, it's not. Anyway, so after 47 days, a psychiatrist wrote to the court that Andre had a drug-induced psychosis. She said that he was competent and he may try to exaggerate his illness by engaging in self-harm.
No! What did she do? Go to iwannabeadoctor.com?
The certificate one. Like, remember when we were talking about the guy who got the certificate?
Holy
he got it mailed.
Shit.
Now, during this time, his defense attorney was out sick. So he didn't get a chance to object to this. So they just let this fly for whatever fucking reason, which...
Oh, boy. Did he gouge out his other eye when he was at the, like, witness stand or whatever? Oh, no. Rips out his tongue. That's what's next. Matthew says something about ripping out your tongue, too, I think.
There is something about a tongue, like holding your tongue or something in the Bible, so maybe. So the defense didn't object to the fact that during jury selection, they actually questioned witnesses. And one of the questions was, what is their response and what do they feel about interracial marriage? And 3 of them said they don't believe in it. Now, again, I don't know why you, I guess.
What does that have to do with a triple homicide?
It has, but the fact that, like, I don't know. That's the thing. I'm like, I can't even understand where that question, like, why that makes sense to you, because it had nothing to do with race. And also, they were married, but they're not married anymore. So what the fuck does it matter? But either way, the defense couldn't object to these things. So the trial started February 2005. They only tried him for the death of Laura's daughter. Insanity became a huge issue. His behavior in the courtroom was chaotic, and during testimony, he was just sitting there snacking on Skittles. Like you do.
I mean, yeah. I guess.
Like a child.
Skittles are
like
good,
a kid,
man.
Yeah, but like while someone's like, hey, so this is what he did, like, cool. Like, You
Do
know,
you
like
think
all of
he
these.
ate them by color? Like when I have Skittles, I have to like
That's a good
I
question.
have to like separate them out. This is my obsessive compulsive disorder, and I have to eat them in a very specific order. And then I throw away the purple ones. But
You don't like grape?
no. I don't like
Okay.
like that fake grape.
Yeah,
It's like how
not
fake watermelon
my
is a
favorite.
very distinct, terrible flavor. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
some people love it. It's like you love it or you hate it. I'm on the hate it bus. I don't eat Skittles all that often, to be quite honest. And for those
It
of you
just-
wondering, I also do the same thing with M&Ms. Even though the taste is different, I have to eat it by color type.
That's okay. I get it.
Yeah,
I understand
it's a
that.
thing. I knew somebody was going to ask me, so I just. Yes.
So, how he's acting, how he's just kind of snacking on things, it kind of seems bizarre. They went with the insanity defense, obviously.
Obviously.
But the prosecution said it was caused by worsened drug use, and they cited Texas law, which says it invalidates insanity defense if the mental condition was worsened by voluntary intoxication.
Okay, when they picked him up, what were his tox screens?
Right. Now, I'm assuming he had he did some kind of drugs, sure. But I
I don't think taking
has
Robitussin too
schizophrenia.
much
Yeah.
is what's going to
He has
do this.
schizophrenia. So it's like, so. The defense also said, well, the removal of his eye was clearly insanity. And the prosecution said, no, it was impulse, not insanity. I don't know much, okay? But impulsively, I've never thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just rip out my eyeball. Like,
I mean, impulsively, I will say, let's do a tequila shot. Impulsively, I will
Yes.
throw the middle finger on the highway when somebody pisses me
Yep.
off. Impulsively, I will play with my hair because I'm nervous. I have
Yes.
never considered ripping out my eyeball. And to be quite honest, if I could just continue my thought here, would the impulsivity be dispersed at the first sign of, ouch, this hurts my fucking eyeball? Maybe my impulse should now be to stop.
yeah.
Cool, I'm glad you and I are on the same page.
Well, he was convicted of capital murder,
Thank God.
and he was given the death penalty.
I don't really know how I feel about that part, but at least he's in jail.
Imprisonment-wise, he was placed in a 6-foot by 10-foot cell and spent 23 hours a day alone.
Because
He said
that
he
helps
still-
with schizophrenia. Well, at least he's not alone
said-
if you think about it.
Well, he actually says he was hearing voices and he saw a 6-inch tall demon coming out of the wall and playing music from the band Queen.
Could be worse.
I mean, right, you could always, like, Bohemian Rhapsody, I'm okay with that.
I
Like,
could
you know?
definitely listen to that for 23 hours a day.
Meanwhile, his inmates would kind of taunt him because they were like, wow, he's fucking crazy. And it's like, yeah, but he actually is
He
crazy.
really is.
So,
Yeah.
he did attempt sewer slide in July of 2008 by cutting into the front of his neck with a sharp object.
Where do you get a sharp object if he's in solitary? Did the demon give it to him?
I mean, well, the one singing Queen, because
I mean, yeah. And are there others that we should know about?
so
Was Demon Bob Ross in the corner talking about, little accident
This is just a
rocks?
happy
This is
accident.
just a happy accident flame in the corner of hell.
this is just fine. It's a happy accident. That's fine. So January 9th, he removed his left eye.
No, we really can't read the
And-
Bible.
He ate it.
No! Ew, Jennifer! Jennifer!
But can I tell you the reason?
Is it still cannibalism if it's your own eyeball?
I mean, I think so.
If I
because
bite
it's
my
not
nails,
like-
is that cannibalism? Have we asked this
No.
question already?
we have, and it's not.
Okay.
It's not.
Glad someone answered us.
But I feel like the eyeball thing is. But he said the reason he did it was because he didn't want the government reading his thoughts.
But he's not. He's not skiff. He's not. He's not insane. He's not at all.
And this is kind of crazy because up until this point, he's not getting help because according to the law and how they prosecuted him, he's not really insane. He's just looking for attention and impulsive. So now at this point, he was transferred to a mental health section of the prison where he could get psychiatric care and be medicated because,
he might need that.
I feel now he can't really see anything. So like,
see, now is when you ask him, can you still see the demons playing queen
right
in your cell? And if he says yes, then you know he's faking it because he can't see shit.
Yes, because he can't see anything.
He can't see anything.
He can't see shit.
I'm not trying to make fun of, honestly, I'm not making fun of the poor human who is insane. This is a very bad situation for a lot of people. Like, but how much more outlandish does, this is like your word jumbling.
I agree.
Like, for the government, the system to be like, hey, there really is a fucking problem here. Like, that's more of what I'm making light of. I'm not making light of this poor human who has schizophrenia and is suffering terribly. It's, how the fuck did they let it go this long? Like, that's what's going through my head right now. I agree. I know.
Because, and the fact that, like, the defense, they were like, no, the defense couldn't really clap back at the whole, like, well, you know what, intoxication, because it was caused by that. Sir, he is still seeing things in his cell. It's not caused by, he's been sober, and he still sees things.
He popped his left eye out and ate it like bubble gum.
Blech.
So excited. Oh, yeah, like the green apple. It's like a fucking blow pop.
So in 2020, his case was brought to the appeals court saying his original representation was ineffective and they failed to object to, the 3 jurors who were just like, yeah, no, we don't believe in that. Also, they didn't present an accurate account of his long-standing psychiatric problems.
Fair.
Unfortunately, the circuit court upheld the decision, and in 2022, the Supreme Court denied the appeal.
Well, okay, keep going.
See, this is also where I read a little bit more into like more of the prison type of stuff, and a lot of people after this kind of questioned the insanity defense because it's unclear the outcome the law will take, but a publication of the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner of Human Rights in 2015 wrote of Andre and another death row inmate with a similar situation, quote, through no fault of their own, they are tormented souls suffering from devastating afflictions that leave them unable to think and reason like people who are not so afflicted. That is a greater punishment than any court can impose.
I guess that's kind of what I was going to say. Like, it's undeniable he did it.
Yes.
What you're really appealing is why he did it. Like, no, he really... Mm-hmm. So really what you're trying to do is clear his name to the fact of he did this intentionally. But even so, He's still committed to this. He can't walk free among the population.
No, he's not safe. It's not safe.
He still needs to be medicated and constantly monitored. So what are you... Like, I don't think he should be on death row. Like, you're really ruining those resources and causing more time for appeals, which costs more money and all this other shit. But, like...
I agree.
It's like, what's the point? What's the point? I don't know. Maybe you'll tell me.
And this is the thing where it's the huge issue is that prisons don't have the resources to handle mental illness. So when you have the insanity defense, they go to a psychiatric portion of the prison where they can get the help that they need, but also they need to stay away from people because you're right. It's not safe to be around this individual because clearly he didn't get help on his own to begin with, but he was crying out for help and it just wasn't happening.
Yeah.
So now they threw him in jail as like he killed people. Yes, no, that's not what
I'm fighting, yeah.
And that's not even what they were fighting on the trial. The trial was just was he insane when he did this or not? And they said no, because it was inflicted upon himself. He stabbed himself before. Like, he, it's...
He gashed out his eyeball.
Yeah, and that was when he was not intoxicated. But that's them saying, well, no, that was impulsive. Who are you trying to... Like, he can't... Like, that's a permanent thing there. No one can, like, just shove the eyeball back in. It's not like, Mr. Potato Head. You just put another eye in. It doesn't work that way.
That's not how this works. It's not how any of this works.
No. So some lawmakers have said they want prisons to adopt policies that alleviate some inmates' mental health problems by reducing the use of solitary confinement, which more than 8,000 inmates in the Texas prison system are in. More than 290 inmates on Texas death row are diagnosed with some kind of mental illness. One, who spent a decade on death row before he was exonerated, said they were the worst conditions imaginable. I only slept about 2.5 to 3 hours a night. I had mood swings that just cause emotional breakdowns. And upon his release, he made a plea to lawmakers: you sentenced them to death, but you didn't sentence them to be punished every day until their death. So, again, it's kind of a loaded topic when you talk about the death penalty and whatever, and solitary confinement especially, but not counting death row, in the last 5 years, 8,500 inmates have been housed in solitary confinement, most of them having no access to rehabilitation programs. In 2012, more than 830 inmates were discharged from solitary to freedom, while 613 were from solitary to parole and mandatory supervision.
Okay.
Which is also a scary thought.
Yeah.
Because you're going from not seeing anybody for most of the time that you're there, and then all of a sudden, here you go.
Free.
Here I go for what? Like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Some states reduced the use of solitary confinement after violence and suicide rates rose, but not all states have taken that model because, that's not a thing.
Yeah.
Some argue that prisoners are being seen by nursing staff, and some have the skills to handle isolation while others don't. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Andre spent 3 years of solitary before he removed his second eye. So...
yeah.
Now he's housed in a unit for mentally ill inmates, but these mental health units are 90% full. Most inmates do not enter these units, that do enter these units, are housed for a few days, given treatment, and then sent back to the original unit. So, hey, here's a Band-Aid, you're done.
Yeah.
Which is also a little, Andre was scheduled for execution April 2023, but the district judge delayed it. They are planning to present evidence that his incompetence would violate the Supreme Court law.
Okay.
Which is they prohibit the death penalty for the intellectually disabled, but not those with serious mental illness. There is a petition online asking for the execution to be stopped, and as of now, he is still sitting on death row. So we're kind of up in the air. But the reason I actually chose this case was because after reading it and being like, there's so much shit. Like, that because obviously he killed his ex-wife and 2 children.
Yes.
Under the age of 5.
Yes.
So he needs to be held accountable.
Absolutely.
But it raises the question of the courts are not really considering, well, okay, is he competent? Is he not? Because they're like, well, no, because if he was drunk induced, then therefore it's not. So it raises a bigger question about how prisons handle mental health. And they don't.
They don't.
Is basically.
Yeah.
Because 90% of those units are full.
Yeah.
So they
God.
can't.
No.
They can't do anything else.
No.
So. But.
Ugh. I don't like it. Those poor babies. Ugh.
I know. And it kind of like takes away from that, and that was the one thing about. But also, the fact that it kind of raises a lot of other questions made me really go, this is an interesting case because of the fact that you're like, this guy, you're right, as you said before, he clearly, when are you going to see that this guy's not okay? Like, he's not
Yeah,
okay.
like, what do we need to do to show you, like, fuck. That was bad. No,
It was bad.
You did good. You did good.
It was bad.
That was a ride. Yeah. Not great. But now it's my turn. So let's talk about something a little bit sillier.
Okay.
And we are covering today, I'm going to tell you about Jeff the Mongoose.
I have heard of Jeff the Mongoose.
Jeff the Mongoose. Okay.
I've heard of Jeff the Mongoose.
Cool. So, for those of you who haven't, I will be telling you this fun story. So, in Dorlish Cashin, which is on the 221 square mile island known as the Isle of Man, we find the Irving family, James, Margaret, and their 13-year-old daughter, Voirrey. So, in September of 1930, the Irvings start to hear this weird, like, scratching, tapping, rustling, growling type noise in the walls of their farmhouse. And they kind of assume that, like, you know, there's an alien in the wall. An animal in the wall. There's an alien in the wall. I already ruined it.
You know what? That's my first thought, too.
Mean, yeah, definitely. So they're thinking, okay, there must be, like, a mouse or something running around in the wall. So James, as anybody would, starts making louder, growling, weird noises to try and scare whatever it is in the wall out of the wall. So he would growl.
I don't know if that's how that works.
Yeah, that's how that works. But then the noises in the wall started to mimic the noises that James was making. So James started to test it and started to teach it different like bird calls. And it got to the point where James could be like, make a parakeet noise. And the noise in the wall would like make a parakeet noise.
What?
Yeah, like it would do like bird calls on command.
And he still thought that this was just an animal in the wall.
It's just a mouse in the wall.
At this point.
Could have been the alien. Who knows?
That just makes parakeet noise. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Good on you, James.
James is having a great time. It's the 30s. What the fuck else is he supposed to do with his time? Read? It's on like the smallest fuck island in the whole entire world, and
you know that's fair.
Yeah,
that is fair. It's a random island.
Cool. So, not long after like he taught all these bird calls, the noises in the wall started making like gurgling sounds, and James said in a 1937 interview, it kind of sounded like a baby learning to talk. So as you do, James starts to teach the thing in the wall English. Right?
It's still a mouse, though. It's still an animal.
It's an alien. So he would say words out loud, and whatever the thing in the wall was would repeat it like a parrot until, you know, he started to figure out how to string sentences together. And apparently Jeff was grateful, and he wrote in a letter. In a letter James wrote in 1934, he recounted Jeff saying, "For years, I could understand all that was said. I tried to talk, but couldn't until you taught me."
That's wonderful.
Yeah. So now Jeff can talk. And he tells them, you know, hey, my name is Jeff, but it's G-E-F, not J-E-F-F, like we normally do.
Oh.
He tells the family he is the ghost of a mongoose. He was born in Delhi, India on Monday, June 7th, 1852. And that's why I chose this, because he's a Gemini, just like me. Yay! But Jeff said he was hunted down and escaped to the British Islands. Because that's what mongooses do, you know.
All right. I'm still following, but I have many concerns.
Well, then, quote, he says, "And I shall haunt you with weird noises and clanking chains." There it is. Yeah. So the family said Jeff spoke in a high-pitched voice and in multiple languages. Because, you know, magically he learned languages, even though James only taught him English.
Taught him English.
But he could speak German, Yiddish, French, Russian, Spanish, Hebrew, Flemish, and Welsh.
All right. I'm still so confused.
Yep.
And they still talk to Jeff? They're just like, hey, so Jeff.
Yeah.
Like, they're just having conversations? Okay.
Yeah, they have
Did he come
conversations. He would parrot their conversations. So, like, he knew when they were whispering in, like, another room of the house, and he would call them out and be like, I hear you whispering. And then he would start to recite everything that they had whispered. So there's, like, no secrets in this house. So, like, imagine if it's like, not tonight, honey, I'm on my period. He's like, I hear you whispering. You're on the rag. Like,
Bro, he needs to, like...
chill.
God, he has no chill.
He has no chill.
He has no chill.
Okay, so the Irvings claim that Jeff told them that he was an earthbound spirit, a ghost in the form of a mongoose, quote, an extra clever mongoose. Also, he once said, quote, I am a freak, I have hands and I have feet, and if you saw me, you'd faint. You'd be petrified, mummified, turned into stone, or a pillar of salt.
So that's why he's not coming out of the wall.
Yeah. I mean, it really was for their protection. He also said, yes. I'll split the atom. I am the fifth dimension. I am the eighth wonder of the world. So he's a little full of himself as well.
All right, Jeff.
Yeah, okay, Jeff. All right, Jeff. The Irvings made various other claims about Jeff, including he guarded their house. He informed them about approaching guests or any unfamiliar dogs. It's kind of like Riggs, you know? If someone forgot to put out the fire at night, Jeff would go down and put out the fire. Jeff would wake people if they overslept. Whenever real mice got in the house, he would scare them off. He wouldn't kill them, just scare them, because he wasn't fond of killing the mice. But he would hunt rabbits for the family. So apparently there was like this overabundance of rabbits on the island, and he would like go out, kill a rabbit, leave it on their front stoop, and then it was like to the point where they had so many rabbits that they kind of used it as like a side hustle and sold them off. So like they had extra income coming in.
That seems nice. I mean, does he do the dishes and at least clean the house too?
No. But he would tell them legends and fairy tales. He'd make jokes. He would sing songs. His favorites were the national anthem and Home on the Range. He was very protective of the daughter, which we will get to a little bit later. He was also somewhat of a sleuth. So he would travel the island by bus, and he would spy on farms and surreptitiously collect gossip from the locals, and then he'd bring it back and tell the family about it. So he'd be like, bitch, guess what I just heard at the old Johansson farm? You will never guess.
This kind of sounds like the Bell Witch, right? Like
a little bit.
She was like very, like, so he's just like a little, so he would travel by bus.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like the Bell Witch, except he didn't like try and murder the entire family multiple times a day. Yeah, a little bit different. Kind of, sort of, not really.
He helped them instead of murdered them. Okay.
I mean, he wasn't always nice to them either, but I'm going to get to that. So, the Irvings would give Jeff biscuits, chocolates, and bananas in a plate that they hung from the ceiling, and he would take the food when he didn't think anybody was looking. But I really didn't know that ghost mongoose, mongoose, whatever the fuck they are, could eat.
They eat.
Like, I didn't know ghosts could eat, period, but like a ghost mongoose. But then my other note here is like, so okay, imagine if there really was like mice or rats in the wall, and now they're taking the food, and then like, you know, the food is decomposing, or the rats and mice are dying, and it just smells like a dead fucking body, like in the last episode. They're fucking out. Yeah.
Ew.
Okay, so the mongoose regularly accompanied the family on trips to the market, but he'd always stay on the other side of the hedges, so they really couldn't see him, and chatted incessantly. So he just kept talking to them as they would go. Jeff was known to have extreme mood swings, girl, same, and has been known to say, I have been in nicer homes than this, and I might go back there.
You should, then.
Bye, bitch.
Like, Bye.
He would sigh and groan for like 30 straight minutes. Kind of like how Riggs does, who, lives here, pays no rent, has all of his fucking needs met, and like was just thoroughly annoyed with his existence. And then, the family would be like, "What's your fucking problem, Jeff?" And he'd be like, "Oh, nothing. I just did it for devilment." And then he'd laugh.
All right.
I mean, I get it. I do that too.
He kind of just seems like a pest, like a house guest that you're like a roommate that you're like okay with sometimes, but then other times you're like, Jesus, just do you ever go out?
I want to put you just want to put like fresh mozzarella cheese under their bed until it smells and they leave.
Yes.
Yes. He also told them that he could kill them all, but I won't.
All right.
He said, "If you are kind to me, I will bring you luck, and if you aren't, I'll kill all your poultry. I can get to them wherever you put them."
But he needs the dish on top of the All right, Jeff.
Jeff was known to poke fun at James, comparing him to a Dickens character or saying his head resembled an onion.
You got an onion head. You onion head.
Hey, onion head.
I might use that now.
Oh my God. All I thought of was Shrek or Hey Arnold. Hey, football head.
Shrek with the onions.
Yes. We have layers. Damn it.
I love it.
Once, while Margaret, the wife, was getting ready for bed, Jeff called out the name of each item of clothing or underclothing as she removed them. Ick.
Oh my God. Go away.
Yeah. And then I think I'm going to adopt this. Whenever Jeff was done talking, like even during conversations, like if he was just done and over it, he would yell, "Vanish!" And that was the end.
I like that one.
Yeah.
That I do.
I think
like.
I'm going to do that.
Like.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done with this.
I'm done with vanish. Just vanish.
I like it.
He was known to throw things at the family, like jars, rocks, sand, and furniture. And then he would also go outside and throw things at the house, like, rocks and shit. As he got more strength, he began to open doors. And I mean, like, with serious force. Like, even if the door was locked, he would, like, just rip it open. And then remember how I said he had, like, a thing about the daughter, Wari? Mm-hmm. Okay. So, he kind of got obsessed with her. And it really started to freak her out. So, she didn't want to be home alone. And when she, like, was going to be home alone, the parents would be like, all right, go in this room. We'll lock the door. And he won't be able to get you. And he would say,
yeah, I can get her.
I can get her anywhere you put her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ew, I don't like that. That's gross.
It's creepy, right?
Oh, now he got creepy.
Like he had mood swings. Like one moment he was like their friend and giving them all the hot goss and they were like spilling some tea. And then the next minute he's like, you belong to me, man. And it was like, wasn't cool.
Yeah. No.
So Jeff became a popular tabloid news article, and journalists flocked to the aisle to try and catch a glimpse. Many people, locals and visitors alike, claim to have heard Jeff's voice, but only a handful claim to have seen it, and that included the family. So the family was like, we catch glimpses of him, but like Wari is like, nah, I've seen him. Like, we make eye contact. But that kind of makes sense because, he likes her and is obsessed with her.
He likes her, yeah.
So it seemed that the story of Jeff changed pretty often as well. So even from Jeff's perspective, like when Jeff was talking to whomever, sometimes it seemed like he was a ghost or a poltergeist or a cryptid or just some sentient being or an actual mongoose that had been cursed by a witch and now he could talk. Kind of like, Salem from, not Salem, Thackeray Banks, whatever the thing's name is from Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
Okay, so the family said that they saw glimpses of the mongoose. Wari said he had the snout of a hedgehog. It was the size of a small rat with yellowish fur and a large, bushy tail with black speckles.
So he is a mongoose.
Yeah.
So okay, all right, because he's like a ghost, and
he could be a ghost. He
can,
could be a poltergeist. He could be a cryptid.
He could be.
He could just be showing himself as a mongoose, that kind of thing. Okay. So with all this hullabaloo, famous paranormal investigator Harry Price, who is very well known for exposing ghost-related hoaxes, and his buddy, the editor of the BBC magazine The Listener, Richard S. Lambert. People call him Rex, so I'm probably going to call him Rex. Okay. But they go and visit the island at the request of James. And they go to investigate Jeff. And while they're there, Jeff doesn't show up.
Of course not.
No, he just goes like radio silent. So Price collects samples of, quote, physical evidence provided by James. And unfortunately, after scientific testing, so they sent everything to the British Museum, and when they got all the results back, it was revealed that there was no real physical evidence, that everything that they had kind of sort of was the family sheepdog. So they handed off footprints, stains on the wall, hair samples, and the family's like, this is all from Jeff. And then when they sent it off, the British Museum's like, yeah, no, this is a dog.
This is a dog.
This is a sheepdog. Price also said that there was double wood paneling covering the interior room. So it's a stone farmhouse, and on the inside there was like a piece of wood to like try and like kind of break up the stone from the room, and then there was like more wood that you could like put your pictures on. Right? Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
So this meant that there was considerable interior airspace between the stone and the wood panels. And it was like, quote, okay, that quote made the whole house one great speaking tube with walls like soundboards. By speaking into one of the many apertures in the panels, it should be possible to convey the voice to various parts of the house. So it's kind of like little, like a tunnel. Like, think about like old military bases where like you could yell down the tunnel and like,
yes,
like that kind of thing.
All right. That makes sense.
Yeah. So later on, so they basically debunked it. And then later on, Nandor Fodor, who was the research officer for the International Institute of Cyclical Research, stayed with the Irvings in their house for like a week. He didn't hear or see Jeff either. And in the end, he wrote the mongoose a goodbye letter. Oh, shit. I forgot to mention Jeff could read. Jeff can read, too. But
did James teach him to read? Or
probably. I bet you he could read in 27 languages just like he could speak.
Come on.
But he wrote, I am very disappointed you did not speak to me. Nonetheless, I believe you to be a very good and very generous mongoose. And I brought you chocolate and biscuits. And he left them there for him. But Fodor wrote later on, he didn't think there was any deliberate deception, but he did come up with the theory that Jeff was a split off part of Jim Irving's personality caused by boredom after moving from the bustling British cities to a sleepy island. Yeah, I kind of get it. So although some psychic investigators thought that Jeff was a poltergeist or some other type of ghost, skeptics, including residents of the island, thought that Voiri actually came up with Jeff and the family was colluding and going along with it because they wanted to try and gain notoriety, possibly fortune. An Isle of Man Examiner report wrote that when he visited, he caught the girl making noises, and then James tried to convince the reporter that the sound came from somewhere else in the house. And this guy's like, nah, bitch, I just saw her make this noise. Like, I heard it. I saw it. It looks like a duck and quacks like a duck. It is not Jeff the mongoose.
It's not a mongoose.
No. Despite the lack of evidence for the mongoose, the Irvings refused to back down. Jeff, quote, unfortunately does exist. He is a cross we have to bear, James told a reporter in 1936. Margaret and Voiri left the home in 1945 after the death of James. They had to sell the farm at a loss because it had, the reputation of being haunted, and nobody really wanted to buy a haunted place.
I mean, that's fair.
In 1946, Leslie Graham, and that's the dude who bought the farm, he claimed in the press that he had shot and killed Jeff. But the body Graham put on display was black and white, much larger than the famous mongoose, and Wari Irving was certain it was not Jeff. Yeah, this spans
out of control.
This spans times. Wari died in 2005. In an interview published later in life, she maintained she did not make up Jeff the mongoose. And I'll end with the contemporary media scholar Jeffrey Sconce's thoughts. He writes that the most likely explanation is that this extra clever mongoose was an imaginary companion created by the Irvings' extra clever daughter. But that's Jeff the mongoose.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad that he learned to read and all of that. What a wonderful...
I would love to, start one day just making scratches on the walls and, magically knows like 12 languages, no problem.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be fun.
Yeah.
I like that.
I liked it too.
It's a fun little romp.
Yeah.
It's a fun little romp.
Yeah, his birthday's a week before mine. So there you go.
I love it.
Me too. So fun. So what did we learn? I learned if you have a weird mongoose that lives in your walls, make sure that you leave it bananas.
And chocolate and
biscuits. And also if somebody tells you that they are possibly seeing angels and demons, maybe believe them and call for help.
Yeah, and like don't let them leave the hospital. Make sure that they actually stay there because...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell them that you need them to pee in a cup so you can do a pregnancy test.
You know what? I think that would just confuse them, but it would be great because then they'd be like, what do you mean?
What do you mean? Well, if you see angels and demons, you can definitely be pregnant. We should check this.
We should check. Have you heard of the Immaculate Conception?
I mean, come on. It was a big deal. Did you read that part of the Bible? It was a huge deal. So, yeah, I think that's what I've learned.
Yeah, I think that's yeah. Or if you think you have a mongoose in your wall, maybe don't teach it to speak because
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
I don't know what the thought process was there. He's like, oh, it speaks English now.
It'd be like me having Emma here.
What?
We can have a third then. Me, you, and Jeff.
I guess it's fair.
Yeah.
I guess that's fair.
This like random screaming commentary from the closet. And you're like, shut
We're
up.
like, there's Jeff.
Hey, Jeff. How you doing? Miss you. All right. Well, thank you for joining us for my birthday episode.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. If you like this, make sure that you rate, review, subscribe, click the bell on YouTube. Follow us on our socials. Make sure you are commenting and sharing because sharing really helps us, as does the reviewing and rating on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you want to see our pictures from this episode or our sources, go to our website, deathbeforebooze.com. While you're there, if you're all caught up and want, some more fun craziness that comes out of our mouths, join our Patreon. Just click on Patreon. Subscriptions start at $5 a month. And then if you pay for the whole year, I think you get a discount on Patreon. So maybe think about that if you are. But we know times are tough. So if you could just like and share and comment on our stuff on social media, that really does help us out. If you feel like you might need some merch of ours, you can also get that at our website. So click on merch. And other than that, we put out new episodes every Tuesday. So make sure you come back next week. And we love you so much. And we can't wait to see you next week where you listen to us tell more craziness. We love you. Bye.
Yeah. Bye. Stay spooky.
Bye.